What a guan, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, and Cash App. And I just wanted to, I guess this is kind of a follow up on the whole buck breaking movie and celebrities and shit. But just want to go through this article. Denzel has a new movie out, as you know. It's a cop movie called The Little Things. Yet another cop military movie. It's kind of the same type of character for Denzel. If anyone who's followed his career, these are the type of roles he does. Well, he kind of goes into why he likes these roles so much and why he gravitates to these type of roles. But this is from Yahoo Entertainment. Frequent movie cop Denzel Washington talks policing in America. Quote, I have the utmost respect for what they do. And this is by Kevin Palawi. Denzel is not a cop, but he does often play one on screen. The dark new thriller, The Little Things, marks the 13th time the 66-year-old Oscar winner plays a law enforcer during his illustrious career, most of them clean, like The Bone Collector, Out of Time, but a few occasionally dirty, like Training Day. In The Little Things, Washington plays a disgraced Los Angeles County sheriff's detective who finds a chance at redemption, and when he believes a serial killer he once chased is on another murder spree. And while policing in America has been under heavy scrutiny in the wake of multiple high-profile officer-involved killings, Black Lives Matter protests, and calls to defund the police, a discourse that has extended to entertainment with the cancellation of shows like Cops and Live PD, Washington makes it clear where he stands on the issue. Okay, get this, folks. I have the utmost respect for what they do, for what our soldiers do, people that sacrifice their lives. Washington tells Yahoo Entertainment during a recent interview, and I'm going to leave a link to this, and you can watch the whole thing up above. When he asks a question, he says, I just don't care for people who put those kinds of people down. If it weren't for them, we would not have the freedom to complain about what they do. End quote. Washington, who has also played a military serviceman in more than half a dozen times, Glory, or Crimson Tide, or Courage Under Fire, etc., notes that his next project he'll be directing a film, Journal for Jordan, starring Michael B. Jordan, and it's about a soldier who makes the ultimate sacrifice. The revered performer who has portrayed revolutionaries like Steve Biko and Malcolm X traced his appreciation for members of law enforcement back to a ride-along while preparing to play a cop turned district attorney in the 1991 thriller Ricochet. Now, mind you, this was like a year before he did Malcolm X. He said, I went out on call with a sergeant. He recalls he went out on call with a sergeant. Matter of fact, you know what? I'll just leave the link in the description. I think he tells the story a little bit better than I do. And it's in the video. And basically, he talks, what he says is how he went on a ride. The cop had a situation, and the situation could have escalated, and the cop de-escalated the situation. And he said from that point on, he's had the ultimate respect for cops. Now, mind you, this was what, 30 years ago? But what this shows is this. Yet again, we love, for some reason, black people, you want so badly to align yourself with these celebrities, and you will never understand these celebrities, their mentalities they're just not aligned with yours. I said in the last video, most celebrities, depending on how high they are usually anti-black. Now, I'm not saying to cancel Denzel. You can't cancel Denzel. He's put in too much work. He hasn't done anything throughout his career or through his life or through his image, any type of cooned out shit. I mean, he's just he hasn't done any pound cake speech. But however, the man is 66. going on 70. All right? And you've seen it with these old celebrities where, or old athletes or whatever. They do one or two things. They go the extreme either one way or the other. In other words, they will go fully extreme to the right. Like they come completely conservative. They don't care if they're called a coon. They got all their money. Usually they hang around with white people because again, these guys, what they do is just brainwash themselves to the point where they don't even see themselves as black anymore. All right? And if you're looking closely, you've seen it with these celebrities. And Denzel, in my opinion, if you haven't noticed, he's really like a religious conservative. If you've been following this dude and following his career and just following how he talks and really peep game, he's really a religious conservative at heart. All right? I wouldn't be surprised if he voted for Trump. Back when Bush wasn't too popular, I'm talking about W, he was talking about, yeah, I like W. He is a Republican, like a lot of these guys are. And what's coming out of his mouth is basically, you know, in no uncertain terms, just a rich nigga mentality. Rich nigga mentality. Just somebody who's, even if he tried, he can't relate to the common black man. And it's funny, a lot of y'all would kill, and I'm talking about the usual suspects, just to revert back to the last video about buck breaking. The Tariqs of the world, the Boyce Watkins of the world, the Vicky Dillards of the world, the Rizza Islams of the world. All these guys would run, regardless of what Denzel just said. If it was anyone but Denzel, they'd be called a coon. But because it's Denzel, and he's so high up, and he's so loved by whites, you're going to try to fashion, well, you know, he wasn't really coon, and he was, you know, and I'm not calling Denzel a coon. But I'm saying, if it was anyone else, you would be quick to call that guy a coon. Whoa, you just said you love cops. Tariq just attacked a few people who said they love cops. But Denzel says, listen, anyone who's against what they said, and this is right, let's just think of how tone deaf you got to be if you're Denzel Washington. I mean, even if you think that, you got to, like, you know what? Let me phrase it a different way and just say, listen, I think that the police department should improve. But no, he just gave you a feeling of what he thinks when he looks at something like an Eric Garner or like a Sandra Bland. He just doesn't have the same mentality as you. And this is why I am so, listen, if you're a celebrity, just entertain me. Even though I don't like the bitch, Laura Ingraham put it best. You know, shut up and dribble. Or shut up and act. All right? And we know the bitch is a hypocrite because she doesn't say this to these celebrities who are lock, stock, and barrel all in her bullshit and basically follow her rhetoric. She doesn't say that to any celebrities like the Kid Rocks or the Ted Nugents or any of these washed-up celebrities that follow her bullshit. I get that. But this is just another reason why you got to stop trying to turn these black celebrities. You're doing it with Kobe right now. Kobe, all of a sudden, is Kobe X. Okay, and I know there's the death of Kobe's death, and the anniversary of Kobe's death, and a lot of people are remembering, but people are trying to act like Kobe was a man of the people. Far from it. Kobe wasn't with that shit. You can see from everything from how he reacted to certain, like the Trayvon situation or any type of social situation that we're dealing with, down to the woman he married. So, again, when you listen to Denzel, it's just another reminder. Enough with these black celebrities. These black celebrities are not for you. And it'll be interesting to see what comes out of his mouth in his later years. I mean, will he go on the far right, like say a Jim Brown? Okay, Jim Brown, who goes on Fox News and says out of his own mouth, there is no racism. When asked by Brian Kilmeade, he says, this America is not racist. or you're going to be like Hank Aaron. Rest in power to that dude, who never took the bait. This guy was put in his 70s and 80s, and I remember when Barry Bonds broke the record, and he was sitting next to Barry Bonds, and people were trying to goad him into trying to throw Barry Bonds under the bus, and he never did. He never did that. Then when Kaepernick, okay, when he decided not to kneel, Henry Aaron got behind him. It was a Jim Brown who cooned it up and said, well, you just gotta kneel for the flag and all this other stuff. And I get it. Some of these guys, I think they're compromised. Jim Brown, I think that dude got close to Trump because he was looking for protection. Because with the Me Too movement coming up, and when you see old dudes like Cosby getting tossed in jail, Jim Brown has a very, very sketchy record, to say the least, with women. I mean, he abused a whole lot of women, including his current wife. So with the Me Too situation, maybe he was just looking for protection, or he was just been all around coon all the time. But you see it with these older dudes who just, they just get comfortable in their skin. It happened with Cosby. Cosby, he leaves the Cosby Show. He has all his money stacked up, and he's up in such a situation. And you're so high in that situation, and when you're hanging with nothing but white folks, how could you not look at black people differently or look down on black people? So it just shows you how tone deaf these celebrities are. You got to stop trying to align yourself with them. Even your man Jigga on stage recently, this was a couple years ago, he's saying, black folk need to get their shit together. You saying this, nigga? Please. But again, you get to that spot, you just get to a point where you brainwash yourself into thinking you're better than black folk. But Denzel has always been a religious conservative. I'll tell you another guy who has the same mindset. LL Cool J. LL Cool J, same thing. Same thing. You're just not peeping game. When you see these guys, him and Denzel, giving these inspirational speeches, and they're all religious, and their art is totally opposite, by the way, from anything, for any sort of, religious feelings that they claim to worship, especially LL, especially Denzel. Listen, Denzel, he's been in Hollywood for a while. Don't tell me he doesn't have any dirt on him. Whatever. But again, this article is just a reminder. I'll leave the link in the description. Stop worshiping these celebrities. They are not like common black folks. And it'll be interesting in the next maybe when Denzel hits 70 or 80, you're gonna see a Denzel's version of a pound cake speech. Wouldn't shock me, not even a little bit. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Like, share, subscribe, Cash App, peace, and big up on yourself.